I'm talking to myself again, and this time is my reflection of a full-time employee versus self-employed experience. And I want to be very real in this sharing because most of you all have been working in a full-time employed environment and you all may see the grass is greener on the other side. So I'm here to offer a very balanced perspective from both sides so that you can compare and see which one suits you better. Let's talk about the first concept of time. And I believe that time is a very important thing to everyone because we only have a limited amount of time on this earth. So the main argument is of course the fixed hours of a full-time employee versus the flexible hours of a self-employed. And on paper, most of you would think that self-employed have better hours, right? Better flexibility, they can control their time, no doubt about it. But the hours of time may vary really greatly. And I can tell you for a fact that you will definitely work more as a self-employed person because in a full-time working environment, the company that is employing you buys your time. You are paid a monthly paycheck every month, which means that maybe you are paid $4,000 per month. The company is using this $4,000 to buy 8 hours of your time daily, not including OT, multiplied by the number of working days of the month. And since they have already bought your time, slacking is an option and it's a luxury. If you're not doing work, that's fine because you're just using your company's time. Maybe you are just slacking away, trying to research on your next travel destination, trying to book hotels and flights. How many of you do that during your work hours? But as a self-employed person, time is a very different concept to you because every second of your time is spent on working hard to earn the next dollar, to clinch the next deal, to meet the next client and the next project to focus on bringing more leads. Every second of the time, you can choose whether to work for additional income so that you can either pay your bills or spend on luxurious items, or you can use it to slack. It's up to you. But you see, every minute that you are slacking is just opportunity cost of earning more money. So I can honestly tell you that most self-employed person works much more than a full-time employee despite the flexible work hours. They can choose the time they want to work, but it doesn't mean that they work less. They may be working from 6 p.m. all the way to 2 p.m. and then you see them in the daytime going out for coffee, meeting people. That is just what you see on the surface. And I know that self-employed persons, we are a very small community. So if you want to join part of a larger community, come and join us at the Honey Money SG Telegram group with over 7,000 members so we can meet more like-minded people. Secondly, let's talk about sick leave. And in terms of sick leave, I'm talking more about in the terms of medical certificates or MC. Now you see, MC may be a blessing when you're working full-time because it means you're able to take a break away from work and you can claim for your medical expenses fully paid by the company, right? You don't have to spend a cent on your medical because it is very likely covered by the company medical benefits. So for full-time employee, not only you don't need to spend money, plus you have the time off to really recuperate and recover from your illness. You don't have to worry much about work. But the concept of sick leave is entirely different from self-employed because now, not only you are sick, you are unwell, but you also have to go and visit the medical clinic. Okay, you have to spend money on medical expenses. All these are on your own expenses. You can no longer claim from the company. Plus the fact that you're already feeling ill, which means that you're not in a healthy condition to work. And that means your time is spent on recovering your body. So you see, that's 3 disadvantages already. First, your time is spent going to the medical clinic. Second, you don't have opportunity to earn income. Third, you have to spend money on your medical expenses. So being sick is very bad for self-employed persons and you really have to take care of your health. Whereas for full-time employee, just take an MC, rest at home, you'll still get your pay regardless because it's part of the company's medical benefit. And after talking about sick leave, I want to talk about annual leave because all you full-time persons must be really envious of self-employed persons, right? They can take leave anytime they want. They don't have to take vacations only during June and December holidays and even like long weekends because they want to save up on their annual leave. You see, the thing about self-employed is because you are flexible in time and your work, you can just take any day off without any prior approval needed. You want to go for spontaneous escapes with Singapore Airlines on the discounted miles awards, you can do that very fast and you don't need anyone's approval. Whereas for full-time employee, unless you are in a very flexible working environment, you will have to get prior approval from your supervisor and make sure that your absence is not in conflict with your other co-workers so that the project still gets delivered. So for full-time employees, it is definitely much less flexible in terms of taking annual leave and it's all subjected to the company's schedule. Like they have an important project or if they have a VIP visiting from overseas, you have to be there. It's not like there is some discounted covered airfare travel that you have to travel within this date. Then sometimes you're ready to buy the ticket already, but you still need your boss approval. Then by the time your boss approve, hey, the ticket price gone already, no more so cheap. I can understand because I was in such situation before. But that doesn't mean it's all glory for self-employed. Because like I said, opportunity cost. If you are traveling as a self-employed person, whether it is for work or leisure, you will have to miss local opportunities, just like myself. Because YouTube invited me for an event, but I'm unable to attend because I have to travel on that specific date. So there will always be a trade-off. You want to travel? Okay, but there will be things that you have to miss. Whereas a full-time employee, if you are traveling on annual leave, the company is still going to give you your monthly salary, so you have no loss for that. The only thing is you have to seek prior approval. So I've covered some employee benefits, but you know what are some external benefits that you can get outside of a company? That is the message from my sponsor. See what I told you? This company finally woke up. Because now, when you sign up with Weeboo Singapore, you can win a total of 6 to 40 free shares from companies like Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, or Google. And each share is worth from 3 to 1,000 US dollars. So now, in order to qualify, you need to deposit at least $100 and hold the deposit for 30 days without any withdrawals. Don't worry, there are no trade requirements this time. But one new feature from Weeboo is now you can do the regular savings plan, where you can finally automate your investments and use your time wisely on other interesting stuff. You will also get one lucky draw ticket where you can win $888 weekly and even get a chance to drive away with a Tesla Model 3 as the grand prize lucky draw winner. So wait no more, use my referral link down below or scan the QR code right here to get your Weeboo account today. Now let's talk about the concept of public holidays. And this is the interesting part because I know full-time employees always look forward to public holidays. Like it's finally a form of escape apart from the weekends, because if you combine a public holiday on a Friday or Monday, you can make it to a long weekend and you can either travel to Malaysia like all the people do, crossing the causeway and jamming up the customs, or you can even go for a short trip overseas via flight because Singapore is close to so many low cost of living travel destinations like Thailand, like Indonesia, like Vietnam, and thus many full-time employees look forward to long weekends. But you see, the concept of public holidays is quite different from self-employed persons because what public holidays? Does it even exist? Like if you're in the real estate or insurance selling line, then most likely you can meet more of your clients during public holidays because they are free. But for someone like me in the marketing and media industry, there is no difference. I still have to work and deliver the product by the deadline nonetheless. And let's be clear, there's no public holiday pay that exists because for some industries, like in the F&B industry, they do have to pay their waiters 2x the normal wage to work on a public holiday because most likely the workload is heavier, more people are visiting, plus you have to entice people to work during that day. So for such industries, 2x pay is justified. And something similar to public holidays is the concept of weekdays versus weekend. Because most of you full-time employees only work during the weekdays, Monday to Friday. That's why you all have this thing called TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, right? You all look forward to Friday evenings where you can finally unwind. Then on Sunday night, you'll go into this mini depressive mode. Like tomorrow is Monday again, I have to see my boss face, I have to see my co-worker's face. So the concept of weekends is very important to full-time employees because Saturday and Sunday are the only time they can recharge, take a break, take their family out, and all the hard work and stress that they have accumulated from Monday to Friday have to be released on the weekends. So they spend, right? Consumerism. They do retail therapy, they dine at high-class restaurants just to make sure that they are rewarding themselves. That's what you all like to use the word, right? Reward myself for a hard day's work. Okay, so this concept of weekdays versus weekend is quite different from self-employed. For self-employed people, we really prefer weekdays because on weekdays, actually you go out and see not much people one. Shopping mall, no people. Restaurant, no people. Still got weekday lunch deal some more. And I can tell you that Singapore during the weekdays, especially during work hours, is very peaceful one. You don't see families, you don't see a lot of people hanging around. There are so much spaces to walk on the pavement. I can tell you it's a very different Singapore during the weekday work hours. And I really enjoy that because most of the full-time employees are already in the office or in their factories working hard. But of course, there must be a trade-off, right? Because what are weekends for self-employed persons? I work every day from Monday to Sunday. The only difference is the amount of work I do each day. Because Saturday and Sunday, I may not work so much. Then sometimes your friend joe you out for weekends. As a self-employed, sometimes you really have work that you have to do. and those things cannot be done during weekdays. So you have to really manage your time as a self-employed person, because now no one is managing you. You have no boss, okay? Sometimes you really have to do things on the weekend. You have to do it, otherwise your income will not come in. So after having compared all of this full-time employee versus self-employed, what is my point? My point is to tell you that don't always envy someone from the other side, because you don't see things from their perspective. And now that I have been on both sides, I can see from both perspectives why some parts are good and why some parts are not so good. But the actual thing is, if you feel that you don't belong to this side, you belong to the other side, I will ask you, go and try first, okay? Don't always judge the other side and thinking they are always better, because there are some things that you will never realize until you're on the other side. But if you want to know my story of when I converted from a full-time employee to a self-employed person, then check out my previous video right here.